in studio today, if you're somebody who's in the creative space,
yes,
and a lot of people are, you and I, for example, brother,
yes,
we're in the creative space.
Very true.
So lend an ear, all right? Because I see now everyone these days, because they have a phone and they manage to get a mic, now they believe that they are in the creative space.
True.
We want to introduce you and tell you the stories of guys who have been in this industry, okay, of creativity for a minute. They are pioneers of a new era of Kenyan cinema, okay, and this era basically, merges traditional narratives with futuristic themes, that create stories that resonate with audiences around the world. These guys are the creative forces behind the Kenyan sci-fi short film OT Unleashed, a book of car story, and one of them serves as the director and editor, while the other is the chief animator and concept originator. When they work together, they seamlessly blend African mythology with science fiction, and this offers a unique cinematic experience. This film, by the way, we're talking about OT Unleashed, was developed using an Unreal Engine. I've heard about that.
Yeah.
Showcasing their commitment to integrating advanced technology in storytelling. We have in studio telling us about their story. It's Albert and Josephat. Josephat.
Yes.
Nyakundi, welcome to Transformational Thursday. So, Albert, now you are a award-winning Kenyan filmmaker and co-creator of this book of Car, right?
Yes.
And you're the producer and the director.
Yes.
And you've got 17 years experience in the industry.
Yes.
How is it working with your brother?
It's been great. This is one of those rare occasions, I'd say, where, when you've been someone for so long, you know them inside out.
Yeah.
So it is, I know what his moods are, what ticks him off, and all those things. So it's a bit more straightforward.
I like that. Yeah. And so when they say, Wahindis do it very well.
Yeah.
And so do the Jewish community. Yeah. But they say, as Africans are, biashara na familia, it's a no-go zone.
Yeah.
How's that been, though?
I have no complaints personally.
Right.
The thing is, I'm the older brother. Then the thing is, when you realize like your younger brother is talented in some ways, because I'm more like a traditional filmmaker, going to set, shooting. He was more technologically inclined in animation, VFX, and things like that.
Right.
So over the years, I think critically it's like 20 years.
Right.
We've worked together. He's plugged holes where I don't know, and I plug the holes where he doesn't.
Right.
So that's how we've built it, and we built the skills and talents in tandem like that.
Josephat, how are you, my brother?
I'm good, asante.
So did you get in the industry because of your elder brother?
Actually, actually it's the other way around.
Twist.
Yeah, he found me in the industry. At the time, I think he was selling insurance. So I think when I started out, let's say with the animation thing, with the graphics thing, around 2006, 2005, it wasn't really something people thought could be a career.
Right.
But I think he saw the kind of progress I was making, and since we were young, we were creatives. We were guys who did art. We used to draw together, draw cars, do stuff. So when it came to like sort of merging your hobby and your actual job, I think for him it was a no-brainer. For me, I just found myself in there. So
how did you get into the space, Josephat?
Most of this is, the country we are in.
Yes.
You don't get into that space intentionally. Something has to happen.
Right.
I used to hang around some guys who are doing art at Sarakasi Trust and such places. And at the time, I'd studied economics. Then I thought,
where was this?
Econ. I did Econ at UON.
Oh, good one. The University of Nairobi.
The only university. Yeah. So after the Econ course, I did a diploma in media arts.
Oh, good one.
At is a local college called Shangtao. So from there were a few prospects that came up. I got a bit into web development, so I got employed. I think around 2006. Got employed 2007 there. Got employed by one of the first e-commerce companies in the country. So I did basically graphics, drawings, ads, all that kind of stuff. So that time he was selling insurance. He'd come to our office
just to chill
and see, the creative offices have so he kind of got, because he's a more artistic guy than a guy who's in sales. So he probably did well in sales because he's artistic, but it wasn't him. So when we it's one of those things that's gradual.
Right. Right. Now, Albert. That day when you decided, hii nimetembea hizi ma shopping mall, nimeenda kwa ofisi, and I can't take this anymore. You just threw away those business cards that you had and you said, Sasa, what happened on that day?
Actually, it's not a particular day. Actually, when I was selling insurance at the same time, I was working at a call center.
Oh, Allah.
Yeah, here at, what is it called? Samir Park.
Okay.
Yeah, so I used to work, so this was basically to pay bills.
Hold on, Baba. Where una farm call center?
Yeah.
What happens at a call center, boss?
Guys just call and then you pick up the calls and then you sell things.
Bus.
Yep.
Yeah, so actually at the time when I was doing customer care for Orange had just come in.
Bus.
Yes.
But now that's basically to pay the bills, because also insurance is a thing of every time you sell, you kind of have to top up because every month your cut reduces. So it was getting difficult, and also you had to give most of the time there, and I knew I wasn't going to do anything in that industry. So I started working at Kencall. It was called Kencall at the time.
Yeah.
So I would get some money there and then use the theater to have access into the artistic world, film. So I started being an extra, like you come, they cast you. There's a time I was typecasted as a policeman for.
Like, by the way, unakakarao.
Yeah.
So that is. It basically happened.
You are a cop in every movie.
Just about every movie, by the way. It's just, I think it's only one where I was just an annoying old man. Like,
even when he was an extra, he was a cop.
So, like, I've done. Like,
so, do guys in the back call you a Fundy?
No, okay. When I've shaved nicely, they look at me weird. And usually these cops, this uniform they wear, it is normal clothes, but uniform.
Very true.
Yeah,
Very
so
true.
it was not instant. Okay, I'd already kind of made up my mind. This is what I was going to do.
Yeah.
But when you start like that and you have no money and no rich parents, you kind of have to start from the ground up.
Yeah, that's true.
So I used to go to the theater, go do my call center job. Then
this is National Theatre, Baba?
Yes, Kenya National Theatre.
Right, at the yes, okay.
So that is where I made most of the connections. But at the same time, Josphat's office was just literally 200 meters from the theater.
So, Josephat, you never, after going to the University of Nairobi, you never really moved away from that environment, huh?
Not really, because as a student, I was always involved with music and stuff at the Nairobi National Theatre.
Right.
So most of the time I would be in one production or other. I wasn't really like an actor. Or the only time I was a performer is when we formed a band at some point at the National Theatre. So I was in that environment of artists, and the school just being next door was sort of my hangout place after classes or weekends. So I'd be there trying to do stuff. Yeah.
Okay, and then so this then happens, and Albert, you were saying, so you were doing call center insurance. Now this is, and I envision this is what Kenya Kwanza were talking about, gents, when they said the hustle, the hustler, because Albert, that was you.
Yeah, well,
right, because you had like you had 2 jobs, thinking of a third. See, that's hustling.
Yes.
Yep.
Why did you doubt that? You're like, well, no.
Well, no. I'm saying the way the person was talking about it, fine, but it's not really the reality.
Because I've used his name.
Why did you say
That guy has no chance. By the way, you see even now, guys don't use the word hustler with me ever.
No, but it's the connotation. In the description of it, that's exactly it.
Yes.
Because we have to be honest with the way our economy is. You know, like unless you have like a decent office job with a standard pay and whatnot, you kind of have to do many things to plug the budget holes.
Right.
Very true.
So that's what basically I did, but more so because I was going to many sets. I would go as an extra. I would go as a runner. You know, a runner is that unatuma leta ile. You'd go and you'd be told you're an assistant to the art department. You're an assistant to the camera, because my main skill talent is cinematography. I really wanted to touch that camera. You go, somebody there wanted to touch it because you know. So that's how I got to see how it's done. Then it's very slowly. You start getting more skills, and then you start getting slightly better paying gigs.
Yes.
Not consistent, of course, so you have to have your insurance manenos on the side. So you do that until there's some point, if I remember correctly, after I'd done that for a long time, we started trying to produce our own stuff. So you do like a short film. You'll talk to so many people, give me location, give me a camera, give me this. So you try that and you try.
How long is a long time? Sorry.
What do you mean?
You said after a long time you started to produce your own films. But
Yes.
give us a time.
Okay, let's say 5 years.
Okay.
After 5 years.
Okay.
Felt like, I've learned enough. Let's see what else we can do. And
Simply
that's
by observation.
observation. The internet are just coming.
Yes.
The videos and different blogs and whatnot.
Right.
So you kind of mixing on-set training and online.
Yes.
So you'd say, okay, why didn't my shot look like that? You go online, you research. Next time you're on a set, you try to do that. So you talk to so many, because there are so many people we've worked with over the years. Even the ones who knew you were starting, but they see your passion, they're like, come, let's do something. So that's how it really built up until I remember we did a Luo film called Moscode, which is basically, we were the theater. These guys, they had the script, they had the actors, they had location. They didn't have money, they didn't have cameras, and they didn't have a director. So we stepped in. We did that job. Actually, this is, I think, in terms of viewership, it's our most viewed film. It's on the internet. It's on YouTube. It won the Kalasha Best Local Language Film.
Nice.
In that year. So it kind of gave me the vision. It wasn't in my opinion, the performance and the story carried it, other than the technical side. But then it gave us a lot of carte blanche with many people. They're like, hey, there's something. So we started now ramping it up. He was, at the time, he joined Wananchi Group as a broadcast engineer, a graphics guy, then a broadcast engineer. So he got some income on the side, so I could hustle the art on the outside. So he kind of became the founder of the endeavors.
Yeah.
So now, Josephat, your brother finds you in the industry.
Yes.
You studied it.
Yes, I.
Well, not exactly it, because I mean you did econ. Yeah,
I did econ,
Yes.
then did the Shangtao diploma.
right.
But because the Shangtao diploma is a mishmash, it's called a media arts diploma.
Okay.
So I've learned cinematography, editing, animation,
Right.
all the arts.
Okay.
At the time, there was this trend. Guys were saying, let's do digital arts.
Yes, yes.
So I did a mishmash. So
Right.
in the certificate level, you concentrate on like 3D animation. Then you go to diploma. Then concentrate on these other things.
Okay, now I asked this because, by the way, we're live on Facebook. Get on to spicefm.co.ke. It's the year 2025.
Yes.
And, we have always said that in terms of before Kibaki came in and changed things,
Yes.
there was Kenya Poly
Yeah.
and then the university.
Yes.
Lakini, for example, ukienda kwa ground,
Yeah.
mtu will tell me, I want somebody who has got practical experience, ile mtu wa theory.
Yes.
Are we together? So here it seems like because you went to the class, where ulikuwa kwa ground.
Yes,
Yeah.
self-taught. That's
Right.
That's the term.
So guys, in 2025,
Yeah.
does one need to do? It's called, you said Shantao.
Shantao, yes.
Does one need to do the Shantao course, or would you recommend what Albert did? I'm asking you just for it.
So for me, I would say it really depends on the individual.
I like that.
Okay.
Some people are fast learners. Some people need some sort of validation to believe in themselves. So if you are that kind of person,
Go to class.
Go to class. Because if you're going to have what they call it, imposter syndrome, you go to class, get your papers, go as far as you can.
Nice.
If you're those people that have to be shown things, you're not a self-driven or self-learning person, I wouldn't recommend doing what Albert did. Most of the time for art in general, not just what I do, animation or art or anything that engages your mind fully,
Sure.
you really must have the passion.
True.
You
That is
really
true.
have to have your own dream about it. Otherwise, you'll go pay school fees, get even a master's degree in cinematography, and will be 10 years from when you've graduated and you won't have even a short film or anything. So it's all about the type of person you are and what you're looking for.
I like that. So, Albert, let's get back to the story of the journey.
Yes.
Okay. So it takes you about 5 years before you guys get your first short film. Or what was it?
Actually, if there were so many little things. There's ones that I tried to do a TV program concept that went to. We did about 3 of those. Then after that, it was short films. There was Machakos had this short film competition, so it was like a motivator.
When Mutua was governor, what?
Yes.
Okay.
So it was kind of this motivator. You go and test out ideas. You go test out.
There at the People's Park.
Yes.
Okay.
It was, but then that's when it will be held. But they used to just give us a concept, say, okay, go do a short film about this. So I did about 3 of those. At the same time, I remember there was a film called Veve. You remember that film?
Yes.
So when that,
Oh, hold on. Oh, so
Yes,
you know the film Veve?
Vizuri sana.
Okay, what's Veve about?
Veve.
Yeah.
It's about the challenges that are facing.
Good one.
Yeah.
Okay. You too?
I used to.
Okay.
yeah. So
I do kunde now.
actually, that's actually, let me just step back one step back. I was approached by this lady, some Indian lady.
Yes.
She was an actress. I think she was in one of the programs that were running on KTN at the time. So she had come from Dubai. She's like, I want to do a movie. I want to be the star in the movie.
Nice.
Can you do that for me? So from concept, that was actually my first feature film project where I'm doing from scratch. I wrote the script.
Hold on. So this woman gets off a jet plane. Now amebeba hela.
No, yeah, mama yake ndiye alilipa, but
Lakini
you know,
alikutana nawe wapi?
she was recommended to me on Facebook.
Oh, good one.
Nice.
Then she inboxed, then we exchanged, then we
Good
met,
one.
then
Yeah.
moved from there.
Yes.
The film was called Unprotected, which was basically we were trying to talk about the street kids, how they are mistreated, and how actually there was something that had found out at the time that was a bit insidious. Like these rich old guys would go and pick these young toys from the street. So I cast her as a journalist, wrote the full script for her, then produced the film with her.
Let me ask you.
Yes.
When this guy was still in Wananchi.
Were you at Wananchi?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, so
Yeah.
at the
Lakini
time-
wewe ndio umesomea hii mambo.
yeah, so at the time,
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So-
but he's doing it out of passion.
yeah.
Okay.
For me,
Sorry.
so once I did that, I would call that was my PhD program in filmmaking. Because I did, at some point, I was also dropping guys after the shoot. I'm the producer, co-producer, I'm the director, and I still have to make sure guys have gotten home. Because it was a tight budget, so what we were trying to do is...
But Josephat wasn't involved in this one.
No, he was involved in the post-production.
Oh, of course, indeed. Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I went through this process,
Nice.
and for better or worse, it taught me a lot. The people I was doing business with became Kenyans, so ikaenda vile ilienda.
These Indians.
Yes. So the movie actually has never been able to be released locally in scale because they've refused to give me my rights. But that's a story for another day. So after that is when now the lady who was doing the project, it was like a big time masterclass for filmmaking. So she's the one who did Nairobi Half-Life and whatnot. So Veve came up. I really wanted to just get in there and see what they do, like world class. What did they do? So I I went and was cast as a policeman. And then actually on Veve, if you watch, you'll see me the policeman who's harassing
but you
the
didn't
Somalis.
have tattoos.
No, I didn't have at the time. So I actually got tattoos like in my 40s. So guys, mi nilipata saa ile nimekoshua. So when I became, but I was on that set primarily to watch how it's being done.
Nice.
The lighting. So I would like, when I'm not on set, I'm not acting, I'll just go and just hang around the camera guy, the lighting guy. So after that, I did now the next, what I would say is, like, I finished the class. We shot, there's a movie called Supermodel. I don't know if you heard.
Yes.
So I shot that with Enos. I was the cinematographer of Unit 2. He was the main.
Who's Enos?
Enos
Enos
Olik.
Olik.
The guy who does videos for all the artists who are...
He was very good at video, music videos. Then he transitioned.
Sorry, I repeat, we have guests.
Yes.
But you asking me, it's like I should, if I don't know him, I must be from another country. I'm a stupid.
No, I guess
I'm in the music.
Say,
I'm in the entertainment. So
thank you.
Yeah.
So apologize. We have guests.
Yeah. So that particular film is actually what convinced me that I could produce for local and international. Because of how it came out.
Right.
It's won over 50 awards.
Which is true, yes.
Yeah.
So the post-prod, the whole thing. Is post-prod, I'm asking, sorry to cut you off, Albert.
Yes.
Will it, of course, the production itself, the elements that you take into the post-production studio have to be something.
Yes.
But can post-production, what these people do at the back end, can it make or break something?
Yes. In my opinion, garbage in, garbage out.
I like that.
So if you have
just what you agree?
Yeah, I agree totally.
If you have bad lead
there are
shots,
ways to rescue. There's a way to rescue a situation, but there's a threshold above which.
That is exactly it. Because if you have badly lit shot, badly framed, if your actors didn't perform, there's nothing you can really do about that.
Right.
But these days, because of technology and what, you can rescue some things, but you see, a particular shot in a film has so much has gone into it that if one thing goes wrong, often you're not able to rescue it. Because you'd see if the performances were not right, if the focus was not on point, if the lighting was a bit weird or unprofessional, that you can't rescue. It will take a lot of time, it will damage the footage you had and all those things.
Right.
Yeah, so let's fix it in post is for amateurs. That's what I say. Yeah, because also it means that you really haven't thought through the process from the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we get back, we need to talk about the future.
Yeah.
And vis-a-vis, because we talked about it, because these days, there's a lot of AI and technology. That's where you're involved.
Yeah.
And then also, stage vis-a-vis screen, for stage actor and a screen actor. Oil and water, some say.
Yeah.
Now, gentlemen, when we asked you to come on board for this show, we asked you for a specific set of songs.
Yes.
And I don't know who said these particular songs, but there was Michael Jackson, Beat It. There was Been There, Done That, Albert May, I feel that is so you.
That's me.
And then there was Ting-a-Ling, Shabaranks, Unleash the Dragon, Cisco. You said who's got a tattoo? Is it Albert or Josephat?
Albert.
Yeah. Josephat is married with kids.
Yeah.
And then there's Let's All Get High.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So between Beat It and Ting-a-Ling and Unleash the Dragon, I want you guys to pick one of those songs and then tell me what memories they invoke from back in the day.
Oh wow! You see, like when your guy was asking me about this list,
he just asked you which song.
I just remembered. It's for me. It's just they hit all these songs kind of hit different periods in me growing
up.
And I can tell you, like Beat It. My dad had come from. My dad was doing further studies back in the day in Canada. Canada. So when he came back with albums. Kitambo those albums, LPs.
Yes.
Santuri. So he had Thriller, he had Beat It, he had all those Michael Jackson's albums at the time.
Yes.
So after listening to all of them, that's the song that stuck with me because we wanted to be Michael Jackson so bad.
Yeah. Did you have the white socks and the moccasins?
No, I'm a bit hefty for that. So you see, like
you've always been.
I've always been
not to body shame. But
I've always been stocky.
You had the glove, the white glove.
No. Let me tell you, if you're coming up in Kisii, you just do it to a certain extent.
Yes.
You don't go all out.
You don't have props for
You
your
don't
show.
have props because we're not be white glove.
Yeah, in Kisii.
did you try the hair?
Now that one, my dad would
have killed you.
Would have killed me straight.
Did you? So
Ethically.
the airbus, the clothes, no.
The clothes.
How old were you?
Oh wow!
Because I'm just trying to figure out how old were you, Josephat?
Yeah.
Were you around doing all of this thing?
Yeah, there's only 3 years between.
Okay.
So we are like from the same period.
No. Now we say this because you've got to live stream. By the way, get on to spicefm.co.ke because what Q said when Albert and Josephat walked in is that you mean you guys are brothers, and I'm like, duh, the name is there. Yeah. And then you said because from your lips to our ears, you said that nani amechapa, nani amebit. Who looks so much older than the other? Say what you are saying.
I said this guy looks older.
No, who's this guy? There's a listener who can't hear you. You mean Josephat?
Josephat looks older than Albert.
And then Albert.
Yes.
This is on the assumption that Josephat's wife is not tuned in. You said
Don't worry, I've got a helmet.
So you said your younger brother by 3 years.
Yes.
Looks 7 years older than you because of si pombe, si cigara.
By the way, he doesn't drink.
Yeah, exactly.
So, so it's all just pressure.
No.
You try paying school fees for 4 kids.
My friend.
Then come back tell me. You'll age 15 years.
My friend. Nani hiyo nani Christmas hiyo imekuja meenda. Nani January ndio hiyo next day.
Exactly.
Hey Chief, by the way. No, good job by the way to all the fathers, and today is International Women's Day. So before we go there, wish your woman an international happy whatever.
Mtu wangu wa frontline. Wish you a happy International Women's Day.
You better.
Yep.
And then you, Albert.
Yeah.
The reason why you got that tattoo in your 40s. Wish her International Women's Day.
This is just midlife crisis. Yeah,
oh, yeah, I thought so.
It has nothing to do with a woman. Yeah. So no, the thing is, I'd wanted to have a tattoo for like 20 years.
Nice.
So when it got to a point, I was like, why not? What do you like? I like lion. I like camera. Put them together.
A lion and a camera.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Josephat, of course, you need to seek the approval of State House before you think of getting a Dani.
Yeah.
Unless he puts a white tattoos on Sudanese.
Well, you guys,
It's becoming personal.
it's becoming quite personal.
Hey, good job. So listen, what questions do you have? Get on to Spice FM KE or start dialing that number 0719012600. Yeah, I know you're waiting for it, but then it's all about the build-up, man. We're talking about, you know what is the title, Baba? OT Unleashed. All right, and we are going to be talking about that. We are with Albert and his brother, Josephat Nyakundi. Jose is one who studied economics at the
University of Nairobi.
I love it. This was one of them. But then you know what? As far as this song is concerned, because he was without body shaming, what did he say? He described himself as on the plus size.
On the plus size.
No, I was always chunky.
Okay, that's a good from his lips.
Yeah.
He could not. He did not have the body frame. Could not do the Jericho. By the way, were there any kids, guys, back in the day who are allowed to have a Michael Jackson Jericho in the 80s? No.
I'd never met one.
Sio?
It's only like the Arabs who, because they had that.
Bars.
They'd put like
Bars. But then in this day and age, we were talking about it, gentlemen, with the DJ Q there.
Yes.
But now in this day, I've seen kids with were you even allowed to have dreads as kids? No.
I guess what? I had dreads for 15 years.
From what age though?
From I think 21.
Yeah, you see, that is you're in campus, you're in Nairobi.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
But I'm talking about wewe ni kijana huko ushago.
No.
In your father's house.
Never.
Bas, why is it in this day and age our children we give them dreadlocks, bro?
Yeah, we try to identify ourselves as a cool culture, the
cool dad, cool mama.
Yes. You know, we try and do that.
Anyway, that's one of their favorite songs. I'm talking about Albert and Josephat Nyakundi. These two brothers, by the way, have been on a journey.
Yes.
When we talk about the creative space in this country. Albert, by the way, these guys Albert and Josephat are pioneers in a new era of Kenyan cinema. And what these guys are doing, they are merging in traditional narratives with futuristic themes to create stories that resonate with audiences worldwide. Right now, I'm telling you, there's a series, and the way Albert described it to me, think about the Marvel series, right?
Yeah.
The Marvel stories, Avengers.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Wakanda.
Yeah. Wakanda was that
Black Panther.
Black Panther,
That's
right?
part of the MCU too.
Thank you.
Yes.
And then there's this guy, that Robert Downey. Is that also part of?
Yes,
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Yes.
Yeah, you just know Wakanda, ne?
Captain America.
Africa, bus. I tell you,
Yes.
these guys, they've got a series, and they tell you this is the second one.
Yes.
And it's, do you know what? It's a journey that they're taking, and they're going to be telling us about it. We're talking about OT Unleashed,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? But before the break, guys, we were talking about in this day and age when Josephat Albert said garbage in,
Garbage out.
garbage out.
Yeah.
But now with technology,
Yeah.
and AI. Have you ever used a filter? I thought that was the furthest it was going to go. You know, this ones are for click,
Yes.
and then filters. But then now there's AI.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
I was watching somebody who was. She's a big boss in one of these advertising agencies, where that even locations are now generated via AI.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember Safaricom that undugu na uko wetu, you know, and then there was, you know, that was a helicopter, not a drone,
Yes.
flying over all those scenic sites in Kenya.
Yeah.
Yes.
But now you can generate that sitting in, that's you,
Yes.
Josephat,
Yeah.
in your studio.
No.
No?
Yeah.
You can, but it's really dependent on the end use.
Yeah.
Okay. What does that mean, brother?
So if you are doing specific shots, the problem with AI, it takes a lot of creative license and you cannot edit minute details. Let's say if you tell it to do a drone shot over Nairobi, there are details that you can't get on a close-up because it's still using, you know, generative technology
Okay.
that has still quirks being worked on. So it depends on how close you want to get to the subject matter and how repetitive you want the shot to be. With AI, if you're generating one shot of, let's say, the flying over Nairobi, the next shot, the buildings will not be in the same place.
All look the same.
Or look the same.
Ooh.
That you see, so that's why I said it's all dependent on the end use. So if you're going to do short clips, like a lot of people are doing right now on YouTube,
Yes.
creating AI channels
Yes.
where they just put shots,
Yes.
and more shots, that sort of works. But also because of the monotony that comes with a method, because AI is not a person.
Yeah.
So it has a kind of monotony that once you watch the videos, there is the weird stuff that you will notice. In our 3D circles, we call it the uncanny valley. That is where you find yourself confused when you watch an AI video. You're able to discern there's something wrong
with it, yes. But you don't know, but you can't put your finger on it.
It's because as an artist, I would immediately tell you the grass, the reflections are off. I would see it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But for an untrained eye, you're in the uncanny valley where your mind, because your mind is trained to view human-generated things, it tells you there's something wrong with this person. Either the nose is too perfect or there is something wrong.
So let me
yeah,
ask you.
Yeah.
So me being a DJ,
Yeah.
or being in the production space of music.
Yes.
So when AI decides to do like a song, like the way he was saying, "Nah, for here."
Yeah.
So the way I can recognize,
There's actually a hit song currently in Kenya. I'm one of the few people that knows it's actually AI generated.
nice. So when AI, so what you're saying when
No.
AI,
That is not nice though.
Yeah.
So it is a current hit with it's in the disco.
It's it's a gospel song.
Okay.
So it's all over.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, sorry. So finish your question, brother.
So I wanted, I was being an AOB, yeah?
Yes.
I was just going AOB, but still on the same,
Yes.
what you are saying.
Yeah.
So when it creates something like a song like "Na Furahia,"
Yes.
the way Kwach was saying,
Yes.
so it will be saying "Na Sulubiwa," like something like that.
Language.
Yeah, language.
So there are generative models that are more accurate than others. The ones to do with vision, because of the amount of data that needs to be crammed in, are not as accurate.
Yeah.
But music is a pattern.
True.
Every single thing in a music track is a pattern.
Very true.
AI has mastered all the patterns. Reggae, classical, jazz, and knows all the hit songs.
Nice.
So what AI has done is sampled all the notes, the best scales, and how, if somebody has done some chopping on a keyboard, it's crammed the best one.
Yeah.
So when you ask it to do a song, it's way more accurate than if you ask AI to generate, let's say, a video.
And I'm telling you, can I tell you something?
Yes.
I know Kwach is going to tell me this tomorrow.
Yes.
"Na Sulubiwa."
Listen, I've got to ask you, Josephat.
Yes.
So that said, because then for the talent in the industry,
Yes.
and for all intents and purposes, we're talking about the directors,
Yes.
the DOPs, and the people who are in front of camera.
Yes.
They're more or less, if they're sitting wherever they are right now listening to, they're like, okay, so our future is safe for the foreseeable future.
Yes.
But what about the back office, like you guys?
Now,
Should somebody still continue pursuing that course in whatever campus they're in right now?
generative AI is not thinking AI.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a very different aspect. Because at the moment they're trying to, because generative AI is basically an algorithm that has been taught to read certain patterns and repeat them. So it's not able to create its own patterns like a human. So what does is it makes certain roles more, even though AI can be used to augment them, it still makes the experience of that role quite important. So if you're going to do a video, let's say, of a drone shot, like you said, you'll still need Albert to give you the right prompts to ask the AI.
Okay.
Because he knows how a good shot should look like, or he knows when he reads the scripts, he knows what the DOP should do. The director of photography should move from this end to this end, doing this and this to flow with the with the script.
Yes.
Okay.
But AI hasn't gotten to the point where it can do the discernment, map it out, then give you a result.
I'm going to ask you an unfair question, Joseph.
Yes.
It's 2025.
Yeah.
AI has come like with the thunder and the rain.
Yes.
It's moving quick, fast.
Yes.
That's a runaway train. Now, but he said it hasn't yet got to that point.
Yes.
But it's coming, right?
Now, this is the thing. I mentioned there is the thinking aspect.
Bas,
Yes.
yes.
It still can't do that because the human brain uses a different mechanism.
I like that.
And the amount of processing that you need to recreate the process of the human brain is what's still far off.
True.
But when it comes now to generative AI, it's going to get really, really smart. Right now, it can write code better than humans. It can sing better. It can do better mastering. Because one of the best mastering tools right now uses pure AI.
Yeah.
Listen to a lot of the songs coming out right now.
Yes.
Very true.
They're all on level. They're all balanced
Wow.
to the utmost level.
So studio engineers, their job
Yeah.
is almost redundant.
So there are those jobs
Yes.
where it is your ability to generate prompts that's going to keep you in the job.
That's
Because-
important.
Yeah, it's
This
like
is important to know.
Yes. It's like when they brought the mechanized tractors.
Yes.
The farmers are still there.
Which is true.
The drivers are now no longer behind the wheel, but behind a keyboard.
By the way, yes.
So the thing, because I use some aspects of AI, like in animation, I'm using a tool called Motorica.
Yes.
Motorica is generates movement, what you call motion capture files. So it has gotten to the point where you can use such a tool to augment your work. So a lot of what AI is going to do is augment what we already can do.
Nice.
And as an artist, I can see from how it's coming up, it's still going to be generative in nature because art has a different aspect to it.
Right.
That is not just pure patterns.
Right.
Nice.
If AI needs to do music for humans, it has to learn from humans. It can't come up with its own genre.
I like that.
Reggae
I like
or
that.
rock.
I like that.
Because those are really subjective things based on chance.
All right. So listen, we're gonna take a break because we have the news coming up at the top of the hour. 0719012600 Spice FMKE. Luisa Swali.
Yeah.
And Prince.
That's a good question.
There were like 2-3 people you can put in.
There we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just what?
I think the real music era is between 75 and 2005.
That is so true.
That is
Now, what I want you to do, both of you, I remember it's not a competition. Localize that. In terms of, because the other day we had somebody in here.
Yeah.
Obviously, remember Kina Lezo Anika when we were hanging around in Nairobi West. Even still today, we appreciate that kind of music. Sina Makosa.
yes.
Now they are desecrating this Kasongo song.
Yeah.
Okay. But the thing is, when was the real era? And Q, not you,
Okay.
in local music, when was it? Because Q and I had this conversation earlier on, Albert. And obviously by that time we were already soldiers. Just to preempt the strike. Okay, obviously because we've got the Lezwanikas, the Maroon Commandos.
Yes.
And of course that's local. Then we've got the Francos and from a loose thing.
Kandabongo.
Bass.
Butalika.
You
For
see?
me, this gap of mine, it became famous during Kandabongo man's time.
Madema, ulikuwa na ile ngepa yake.
No, I would wear my dad's every now and then, but you don't go
Yes,
anywhere.
yes.
But you see, the gap was sufficient.
Bas.
And then you have to know how to dance like him. But if you know dance like he had these 3 dancing styles. If you know them, where you're inside.
Ela money. Sasa, you guys, you see now Q is feeling left out. It's
Q,
like,
you
what
didn't
is-
see Kandabongo man being bundled to JKIA?
Don't you? Can't you see my face the way I'm looking at you guys?
So Q, in local music, was it the Ogopa era? Was it this millennium?
Let me say this. Since I had bigger brothers and sisters, so the Indemoni, I used to know them. The Congo music, I used to know them because now I was introduced to them. But my music was actually nameless.
Salario.
No,
was my
ilikuwa
guy.
ile na
Rider.
amani. Ile the Ogopa 1 and Ogopa 2. I believe that was the beginning, really, of like pop music in Kenya.
Do you know what impresses me, gentlemen?
Yes.
I was watching. There's a guy of yours who really got married part 2. I didn't understand that. Yeah. And then the Madenges were there.
Yes.
And then Nameless, of course, got on stage. And he was singing, and there's that song. And what impressed me is that with the different generations. Nitachora saba, ukichora saba, nitachora that one.
Yes.
What's it called? Sincere. I saw the youths. Even them, they knew the lyrics, man. They were lip syncing to the damn thing. And what are your kids listening to, Joseph?
My kids are all into Afrofusion, Burna Boy. Although I can't name more than 3 or 4. But those ones.
Yeah.
So did they go for the concert?
No, they're not allowed.
I like that. I'm told, you see, money doesn't like noise, my friend. So the people who went for the Burna Boy concert, they were leaving their phones
Yeah.
on the table, then they go and susu and they come back. You see makelele or what to sijui. Otherwise, and every other, not to disparage anyone, gents.
Yes.
Okay. That usually if you're going to these other concerts, because of the thug life element.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, that's when you buy a banner phone for 1,000 for 997
For the day. On the day.
Yeah, just for the day.
that is a fact. I think we've gone to a number of concerts. The earlier Kasarani, it was
Don Carlos.
no Burning Spear.
Burning Spear, Don Carlos.
You guy, there was like a gang of like 50 guys from Madari.
Yeah.
Then they would come. You see that on the thing you guys are posted over there. They'd come and then just cause disruption, pick whatever, then
Bas.
they go to the next
Yeah.
post.
Sasa skia.
So it even got to a point because we were not wimps.
Right.
So we created our own little gang.
Yeah.
You come, we put you in the center, and then you
We
receive
do
something.
bars. We work on you.
Yes, and that one was that.
Yeah.
The time we went to Tao, is it
There's,
Sean Paul?
Sean Paul, yes.
Although it was okay inside, but outside
Yes.
was the mayhem.
Madness.
There's problems there.
The one at Ngong Road,
Ngong Race Course.
The
race course.
Ngong
Race
Race
course.
Course, yeah.
Jockey Club, is it? Was it Gong Race Course? It's Jong Race Course, yes.
Yeah.
All those because we like those things. But after a while, after it passed like 35, I'm like, hey, why?
Why?
Like if it's not safe, if it's not a place I can go and just chill,
Right.
enjoy, where I'm not just squeezed with people like this, I'm not going.
Yeah.
Why am I paying money for that discomfort?
That is true. So listen, speaking of then and now, Albert, Josephat has painted a picture into the future. Now and pali tunaenda.
Yes.
True.
It's 2025, brother. I remember, Josephat, obviously you'll also recall this. I don't know if you know this, Q, that, and we were talking about, it was Polo Ground, Jamhuri Park, ne?
Yeah.
And then, you know what, they built massive studio facilities. They're opposite, obviously, we're talking about Mnet, ne?
Yes.
And we're like, oh, Kenya, now this is the next Hollywood.
Yeah.
Oh, man, the sky is the limit.
Yeah.
Obviously, times have happened. Life has come and gone. Life has happened.
Yeah.
But when you talk about early this millennium, when even that facility did not exist, that 2000 we're talking about there.
Yeah.
And where we are now, that with multiple channels, you've got your Showmaxes, you've got your Netflixes, you've got your YouTubes, and even with the things that you are doing, Albert, for somebody who's, and I'm still very impressed, Josephat, that there are people who are still getting into the vocation, who are still students of the same. And I look at productions. But first of all, I wanted to ask you this, remember I said before the news, in terms of productions, why do we still see a lot of screen actors? Clearly you've put them on screen. But it's stage performances. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Explain it. Do you understand what I mean, Q? What is a screen? What is a? They are on screen, lakini they are acting like they're on stage. They over exaggerate.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the stage is about projection.
Yeah, projection. Yeah.
So, what was your question?
Why are we still like that? And what are you people doing about it? I'm talking about as now frontline directors.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Are there trainings that you do? Are there classes that
the
you
trainings are there and everything. It's just we have a big problem with picking of talent.
I wanted it to come out of your mouth, not mine.
Yes. The thing is that the way it's set up, people form their little
Cartels.
tribes.
Yes.
And the thing is, it doesn't matter whether the person is talented or not. It belongs to the tribe, so they get the role. And they've kind of standardized the. It's going to be harsh, but they've kind of standardized the mediocrity, so that whichever station you go, whichever program you look, it's the same people. doing
Indeed,
the same
that
thing.
is so true. Yeah.
The same cameraman, the
Yes.
same writers, the
Yes.
same. So what you are watching is a regurgitation of these same minds. And I'm not convinced.
Same cast, different script.
Yes, I'm not convinced they are the best people we have.
Right.
They just have the connection.
So you see now there's somebody who's listening to you. You've just said that. They're like, okay, they've sat up and like, this is hope. How do you cast your people? And when do you find your
My
talent?
talent I cast open.
What does that mean for the uninitiated?
You just make a call to the public. That's how you get the best talent.
Okay, now I'm gonna, my friend.
Yes.
Have you ever acted before? No. Aside from in front of your wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
We went for a show. then my speaker failed, so I had to take it to the fundi.
Yeah. What was the question?
Have you? No, that's the first question. Have you ever acted before?
Even when I'm DJing, I have to like put
Indeed.
Forget
Indeed.
that.
Yeah.
So
act, yeah.
thank you. So
Yes.
when Albert and Josephat are making, you say it's called an open what? An open casting.
Yes.
Ask the question. How would you hear of it? Where? Do you have to be hanging around in the National Theatre, Baba?
No, that used to be the thing back in the day. But
Yes.
right now, like that's why, for example, personally, I grow my social media. I'm trying.
Of course. There's so many
the
ways
thing is,
these days.
You have to.
I'm thinking old school.
Yeah. So the thing is, if I grow my
because
social
now people
media,
are accessible.
so I have my clique, so to speak, who when every time I make a call, they just give them and they spread it. Then there, of course, there are guys who are doing that as a job casting. So you send to them, give me your people. So you throw to everyone, you put it out there. If you have money, you put it in the media. Who cares?
Let me ask
Sometimes
you-
it's
let me
just
ask-
about who you want, because for some roles, let's say for example in this Book of Ka chapter X, we found Nama by accident. He's actually a friend to Albert from back in
Good
the
one.
day,
Good one.
Yes.
and he does VOs. So because we are friends on social media, I had his VO. I was like, this guy's voice, this is the guy. Yeah. So
Okay, now, so let's go full circle on that.
Yeah.
Quite, can I
just-
ask something?
Yeah.
I wanted to know. So now the guys who still do theater,
The thing is, I think I have an idea where you're going.
Yes.
The people who do theater are also the same people doing screen.
okay.
Because it's the same cartel. Even these plays you see, it's the same people. If you go, it's the same people. There are people obviously who are talented in that mix, but
Yes.
a lot of them, it's just, I know a guy who knows a guy.
Okay.
And then you do that. Personally, especially when something is as visceral and as rare as real good talent, you have to spread the pool.
Very true.
Because the thing is, if you are limiting to this guy, everybody knows how this person acts in this series, this year, this movie they are in. It's the same person.
Albert, do we not have, and I totally agree with cliques and cartels.
Yeah.
Do we not have, and I know one of them is gone, I really don't want to kill the other. It is Konga Bandu who died, ne? Lenny Jumas, is he still there?
Lenny still there.
Okay. Yeah, you know, have you ever been somewhere and then somebody says, Allah, Baduko? Nothing that annoys me like that one, by the way.
Yeah, but when you get older, and then people don't see you a lot.
But-
There's because the other day I was telling him about Mudiaori. Then
You know,
The guy is there.
That's so ironic. And we
Yes.
talk about it like this guy must be Charles Jonjo hang around for a long time.
Yes,
But this guy must be,
Yeah.
if not 100.
Yeah, because he was telling me, because I was telling him,
Yes.
you know, like now,
Yes.
these guys need to behave like Mudiaori.
Yes.
So he was telling me, no, Mudiaori is gone. I was
You're
like,
like,
no,
no.
he's still alive. Yeah.
Bado ni retirement benefit anakula.
Yes.
Ile pension. So are there casting agents?
We do have them. The problem is they also just are just people who have been extracted from that pool to do that job. Say, oh, why don't you become a casting agent? You're an actor, but yeah, you can also do this. So a lot of them, let me tell you, there's a very big scarcity mentality in this industry.
I like that, yes.
And it's primarily because most of the people that get the opportunity to produce, who people invest in,
I wanted to ask you that. Yes.
they do not spread the love, if you like. And this is one of the things, at least us with our company, we've changed. All our contracts have royalties.
Wow.
love.
Nobody in Kenya is giving actors and crew royalties.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
that's
so-
a good one.
so the
that's,
first
that's,
thing-
that's the
yeah.
take right there. Uh-huh.
So what happens when you don't give people royalties? Your best talent can't stay in the industry. Because a really talented actor can do many other things. But to keep him in the industry, he must know, okay, he got paid, say, 20 Gs per episode on this series. Next year, it will be sold for to another license to another station, I'll get like a 5Gs here or 2K, whatever it is.
Yes.
There is no further payment.
Right.
The thing is, the producers, I'm a producer.
Yeah.
I know all that money comes to them.
Right.
So even having that how do you call that awareness that okay, let me pick, okay, I've gotten, okay, the first time I got 10 million, okay, now I've gotten 5. Why don't I take $1 million and give these guys bonuses? Because now you are spread, because now I don't like to pussyfoot around these issues. If you're not paying people, you're just gonna get crap.
True.
The person who's willing to act for 2K is not talented.
What has been the challenge, and still I'm focusing on you, Albert, in terms of guilds and unions, because they've been trying to start them forever.
They're briefcase organizations. They're there.
Yeah. They're there.
They're there. They have no effect.
They have their gatekeepers. Yes.
No, they have no effect on the industry.
Actually, they do not have any actual function apart from giving access to the officials to government,
to buy offices,
offices, or because even the government doesn't really value the industry like that. So in any case, you only use as props. So they say bring actors guild, bring this animators guild, bring this, just so that you're there as a prop for an government event, take a few allowances. But when it comes to the nitty gritty of how the industry operates, the impact is really negligible.
You see, the guilds in America, they affect pay. They affect royalties.
Yes.
Okay, not just America, India, and I think Nigeria has also picked it up. China, they know, they understand. This is a business, and this is the thing. You're a director or a producer. You've made money. You've gone a year or so, because a movie can sell over 5 years. Like, it is what it is. So in the third year, maybe you've gotten some money, some 10M there somewhere or another, and they're seeing you bowling. And this time, because acting jobs they're not everywhere.
True.
So they're seeing you, and then they're like, why didn't this guy even? Because I always ask, why do you do one movie, stay 3, 4, 5 years before you do another?
Bas.
Like the industry can't be built on those kinds of droplets. I call them droplets because it feels like they're just doing it for that money for the investment, your grant, or whatever it is. That's why, like, for example, if you find people are given grants to do movies, they rarely do good movies. Do you know why? There's no incentive to make profit.
Aha.
Yeah, so they're not incentivized for it to look good, promote heavily, to have the best actors, to have your best cinematography. They're not motivated to do that because our grant is here.
I like that. That has brought us full circle, because Albert, I'll stick with you.
Yes.
Now, you got your. Let's go back to the insurance days.
Yes.
Your bro Josephat had been doing his thing. Okay. Then you started to get involved in the space because, man, you are a sponge.
Yes.
Okay. Your coming to Jesus moment was this where you did this movie where you wrote, produced, and did everything.
Yes.
Okay. That was the moment where you're like, man, it was your eureka moment. Now let's backtrack on that. When did you guys get the company now together? You said this one, we're going Twin Sim as brotherhood united, we stand, divided we fall. Which year was that?
That was it was when you were at Mama Mike's. That time it was
2009. I think it was 2009.
Right.
And we were thinking about doing, I think that time we were trying to do a comedy.
Right.
So, like I said, it's not something we sat down and actually said we'll be working together.
That's honest.
It was like we've started this thing, then another thing has come up. So, and we found the synergies that he knows some things more than I do. I know some things. And the team was sort of alone. I'm like 50%. Alone is like 50. So it sort of came up. I can't
stronger together.
Yeah, it's a cliche, but that's what actually happened.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. So now, tell us.
That was 2009. We formed the company 3D Africa Media.
Is 3D Africa Media? Thank you. And you've done a lot of things. Good stuff, guys.
Yes.
Is it important to, especially remember, because we're talking to creatives, we're in the creative space.
Yeah.
Is it important to have a vehicle to proceed with, to be under, to be part of? Yani company.
Company, yes. That's important because first of all, in everything you are selling, branding is the main thing.
There you go.
You see, if you have, like for example, I do stuff like when I do content, I say Alboa Cinema. That's what I call myself. I started it that way. It felt a bit corny, but it caught, and people just call me that. 3D Africa Media came before that, but every time we used it somewhere, you'd be like, oh. It's like it's just that name in itself. So, and also of course legally when you're trying to transact business, of course, if you're doing it as a solo guy, the taxes are just the two main. If you are doing it as a company, you're able to structure them a bit better. Other than that, also just to have an organized way of working. Like, okay, this is the company. We are the two main employees and employers. So what do we need? Okay, we need an editor this time. You know, if you are indie, so you hire an editor for a period. Oh, we need this. So actually, this is one of the main reasons why I started doing post-production. Because sometimes you hire an editor like, then I learned how to edit. Then I got better, and then I started doing color, then I started doing graphics. Because I was actually kind of borrowing from him. Because I remember we were doing one of the projects. He had to go to work, then come in the evening to edit, then go the next day.
I get you.
So I decided, why can't I just...
I like that. Now, you guys, together, you guys, when you look at your portfolio, just what you've you worked on things like Aerospace Sentinel 2018. I've seen the Queen Bee wa Kenya 2016. And together, I mean, Albert, you are doing the cinematography of for Supermodo as well. Look, now tell us now about the story of OT Unleashed.
I'll pick up, then you continue. He's the originator.
No, you see, you see, Baba, you see that seamless. I'm talking to you, and he's on his phone watching porn. You see that seamless symbiotic relationship? We need to build on that. You just tell me.
I'm planning myself how I'm going to be cast.
Sharp.
So this one started. He'll pick it up because he had this idea from he did comics back in the day, drawing and what, and also he had this mind. He's a very good writer actually. He has a book out. So I knew that was kind of I've built it over time, but I knew that he had a talent here that I didn't have. And then this idea about sci, because we've enjoyed sci-fi and this is action for a very long time. Then the eureka moment, if you like, was when they started the MCU properly. You see those Hulk, Thor, then you're like, okay, it's together. So there's this other person in this movie. So it started making sense. And then because the universe he was thinking about was so broad, we were trying to squeeze it in the movie. Like, no, let's just start slowly. One character. Then bits of the story are exposed as you build. So it is based on African mythology. You see, if you're thinking about MCU, Thor is a Norse god. Yes? Sometimes they bring you
now,
Zeus.
if you're wondering, what the hell are these guys babbling on about? What is an MCU? It's the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Okay. And Marvel is kina Captain America. Baba, I know you had that Captain America underwear when you were a kid.
Mad.
You had those as
I still have it.
Is he uko mbele ama is uko
Away front. Captain America.
I'm telling you.
Sorry, Albert. You're saying.
So there are so many characters. There's a lot of mythology, especially if you go back to like ancient Egypt. If you look even at our Luos here in Rwanda, you see like there are so many different stories that are across Africa. Forget Africa, just locally, 40-something tribes. Just looking through their mythology and legends and what, there are so many interesting stories. Why not just now use, because it's the least touched in this world. The African mythology in general, for the continent. And it felt like there's a very rich ground here for really deep storytelling.
So
that's why
let me take you back to the time I tried to be a writer in the early 2000s. So I sort of wrote some stories. I had this long volume called Book of Ka, and that comes from ancient Egypt, but Kush. Most people don't realize that there are more pyramids in Sudan.
By the way, yes, that they are in Egypt. Yes.
Kush actually took more of that. If you look at the pre-Second Dynasty Egypt,
Yes.
you will see that there is a big gap of explaining. So when I was looking at the picture of Nama, it's called Nama the Anvil. Actually, one of the characters in this is Nama the Anvil. He sort of disappears from the timeline. So a lot of these things were in my mind, and that time the internet was new, and I kept going into like Yahoo groups. Google was new; they had Google groups, and I would get into these rabbit holes where we're discussing the Anunnaki and all this. So those stories formed in my mind into this huge volume called Book of Ka. That wasn't really meant to be something for film. At the time, I didn't even know how to do animation. I used to draw, and I'd get jobs doing like drawings of superheroes in Indian Manik Chand shops in Ngara. So I wasn't really thinking about animation. But the more I got into the animation world and got really frustrated by publishers, I started to think about creating animations based on the stuff I'd written and the comics I'd drawn. I remember, so one of the first things I did when I went to college to learn animation was try to recreate a guy called Jin Zuma. He's a jinn, because if you look at Sudanese mythology, there's a lot of jinns. They've merged a lot of Islam and local let's call it oral narratives into these weird stories that nobody has heard before. So I sort of got into that, and then when we would sit to write a script, he'd keep telling me this thing feels like a structure. So because we are not going to pretend we decided to do it back then. This actually came in around 2009-10 when I already had like a small computer. So then the first, I think it was Iron Man came out. The first Iron Man, the MCU. We'd watch it, then after he'd have the same ideas I had. We'd be like, there's that character, they do this and this, and it affects this other guy. See, this is like Iron Man. This is like, then they came with the first Captain America. That's when the idea started. So
wow, it's 2009.
Yes.
Wow.
So we started now, each time we'd create a script to do a short or to do, a lot of the early animations we did were really crap. They are no longer on the internet to save our reputation. So, but then when the ideas were being formed, we found it's sort of one of those things that's systematic. You have this character in one of your stories, and the same character in another story, and then you realize you're always around the same theme. So the cinematic universe came up like that. Now, OT Unleashed is sort of an accident. So in this whole universe, there is an Earth dweller. Because what you'll find out from what we've decided, this is a creative decision, after reading all this stuff about Kush, Egypt, we've decided because of the lost timeline, some people must have traveled. They went away. They went to another. They developed, because in my mind,
another dimension.
They went to another planet or a different, galaxy.
Yes.
Because when you look at the kind of technology that built the pyramids, we can't see it.
Exactly.
There is I've read widely about this. There's no single scientist who is committal on the method that was used to build. Because some of those stones are 20 tons? So how was it lifted 400 meters in the air and placed on the pyramid? Then you read a bit more, you realize at the top of the pyramid there used to be a gold pyramid.
Yes.
A huge one of over 1,000 kilos of gold.
Yes.
Those who know metallurgy and those smelting arts, how possible is it, even using current technology, to do that size of a metallic object? So in my mind, these guys did their thing, they advanced, they flew away.
So you believe in extraterrestrials?
Of course. I wouldn't be in sci-fi if I
Are your kids aware? Are the kids aware?
the kids are aware. One of them is actually developing into quite the artist.
Very good.
She's in grade
Nice.
3. And all she does, I think even the mom has to control how much
I like that. She consumes
of cartoons, especially the type that I like.
I like that.
Yeah, the others will watch some of my cartoons and they'd be like, I actually forgot to mention something that was really a milestone in this thing, and it was way back, like in 94.
Yes.
There was Saber Rider.
Yes.
You remember Saber Rider?
Yes.
There was
The
Saber
Star
Rider.
Shell.
Yes.
That's the only like futuristic, star-based kind of thing that we were exposed to.
And there was
And
He-Man and She-Ra.
He-Man and She-Ra. Those two had such an impact. Even how we write and how we think about superheroes and all that. It's more of those than any other.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now, you should see, and I hope you're live streaming this, by the way, spicefm.co.ke, because Albert, even when Josephat, and obviously this is, when you talk about your work being your passion, because the way he was you saw him glowing,
Mad.
and the enthusiasm on his face.
Mad. He-Man and She-Ra.
You know, man, hey, huh? And the pyramids.
Yes.
And I love it. So, how does one consume this now? Because we're talking about OT Unleashed, this part 2.
So this is basically what we decided to do, because producing this work is extremely expensive.
Yes.
I
Time, money. It's usually just studio work, just repeated, long processes. So after a while, there's at some point, like when we were doing Book of Ka, the first episode, we had asked that time the Kenya Film Commissioner, like, oh guys, we have some money here, you guys. So they gave us it was 300 Gs.
Yes.
Wow,
So
that's it.
Under the empowerment program.
So with that is what we did the Book of Ka, the first one. It
Right.
didn't cost 300. It was a bit more, but
Yes.
we covered a lot of the other cost.
Yes.
But then now, to do this one, we had to be more intentional in that the first feature film of the Book of Ka universe must come out. This is to set up the base for the entire universe going forward. And I think the technology had caught up, the Unreal Engine, so now you're able to actually produce something that hata mtu wa majuu, even people outside this country see the quality meets.
Yes.
So that's when the confidence came, and we say, okay, we're going to do this short film. As it was kind of an accident. I had this idea, okay, we want to do this little cinematic, but why are we doing the cinematic? Why don't we just do the concept film? So we did the OT Unleashed, which is basically OT. What Nama does, Nama now is in the sky somewhere in the universe, but he'll be coming back. But he has his people on the ground who are preparing his soldiers.
Actually, the universe is a territory.
Yes.
So Nama at the top, because you look at the expanse of all the galaxies, he's at the top. Then there are his guys. There's also corruption there. So some guys have sequestered this section of the universe or the galaxy, the Milky Way, for their own use. So OT is a cog in this mix,
right.
in that because gold is very important in this universe.
Yes.
So OT being a cog, because they need to do the usual earthly machinations, politics and all that. So in that, they've developed a facility to develop superhumans. So OT, who's a former athlete and a physically gifted individual, has been chosen and pushed into this thing without his consent.
Okay.
So we get this short film actually gets OT at the point where he's escaped and he's settled somewhere and they've come for him.
So this part 2 now.
He's actually settled in Umoja.
Okay.
In a small Umoja tu uko chini. So he kind of, because what Nama and his people do is that they pick the best, most gifted physically in the world. Them they just want brute force.
Yes.
So
hard body.
And then they enhance them and whatnot. So at the same time, even with the person who was sent to capture him, is a woman. She used to be like a basketballer. She was a big athlete also. She's tall. She was enhanced. Now she's also a beast.
Right.
So they come for him, and then the process there is how he tries to take off. We kind of stop it somewhere, and then we show people who Nama is and where he is, just to guzisha tu kidogo. I don't know if you've watched it, just to see him, just to see who he is. And then we are setting up now what part of the film is going to be.
Right.
So that's why it's out. So what we are doing at the moment is to crowdfund.
Okay.
We're just asking people out there, this is what you are doing, this is what the quality of the work, this is the concept. Weka 500 yako hapo, weka your 1 million.
That is what I wanted us to get to.
Yeah.
So how are you crowdfunding again?
We have M-Pesa till number for local, and for international we have PayPal.
Okay, so what is the M-Pesa till number?
Let me find it.
And so can we get snippets of OT Unleashed if somebody is okay? I want to contribute.
Yes.
But can I gauge it somewhere?
Yes.
Now, are you on YouTube?
No.
You're not on YouTube?
He's in the gadgets and any. But you can. You want us to open YouTube?
Yes, you can. You can
tell one how to open it on YouTube. Somebody who's listening to you.
Go to 3D Africa Media. Africa is with a K, then Media. 3D Africa Media. The latest. The short film is there. It's 8 minutes long.
What's the title, Baba?
OT Unleashed, a book of car story.
Right.
Book of car story.
OT Unleashed, a book of car story.
3D Africa Media, Africa with a K.
Yes,
Africa with
Indeed.
a K.
So now there's on that's our main channel. I
Right.
have my own but that's the main company channel. In fact, you'll see a lot more stuff there.
Yes.
So there is a teaser there of 35 seconds,
Good one.
and then after that there is the short film of 8 minutes.
Okay.
So that is that. Through that 8 minutes, I'm quite sure that if you watch that, you will not move your eyelid. So is it I really macho?
Yes.
Eyeballs.
What I was
Eyeballs, yes.
looking at the pacing of it, because I did the post production.
Yes.
Is from the moment you start seeing what's happening, you don't move until it's over.
Very good.
And we tested that with a lot of people, and it's been pretty successful.
Very good. How much are we trying to raise? Is there a set figure? Or we just as much as possible?
What we are trying to do, because we know what work it entails, is going to be, because this is a whole universe. So we'll do the
So
first
there are many.
There are many
So the
productions.
the first one we are looking for between 4.5 to 5 M to do the first feature. This is actually, it's not really possible to do with that amount anywhere else except here.
Anywhere else it will be more expensive or cheaper?
Yeah, it will be 100 to 1,000 times more expensive.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
Why are we so cheap?
so here locally is because our talent is generally cheap, and because we're carrying most of the workload.
Okay.
It's because a lot of the people who will come in are people in the technical, helping him model, helping him build props.
Okay. Because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So you were telling us, Josephat, how do we crowdfund there?
Yeah, so if you're in Kenya, our M-Pesa till number is 5158365. Josephat Tech Media Services. Global supporters, you can go to PayPal, sejo2001@gmail.com.
Hizo utasema tena. M-Pesa.
Yeah, so M-Pesa till number is 5158365.
Josephat.
Yes.
Most. Sema pole.
All right. So the M-Pesa till number is 5158365. And then the PayPal.
Somebody listening from diaspora.
Diaspora is Sejo, SEJO, Sejo2001@gmail.com.
Oh, thank you so much. One more time on those ones, Josephat, please. We're crowdfunding, and we're crowdfunding. And we need about 4.55 million just for the first one.
Yes.
Very good.
So our till number again is 5158365.
And then PayPal?
PayPal is sejo2001@gmail.com.
Man, it is the latest installment of OT Unleashed. And if you want to support your own, imagine let's support this initiative, courtesy of the brother and Albert and Josephat Nyakundi. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We've got to get you guys back here in about 6 months or so, and then we see where we have gotten to, yeah?
Yes, definitely.
I'm an Amnagani. So, listen, we are going to play out we played Unleash the Dragon. We're going to play Shabarank's Tingaling.
That was a banger. That was the Shabaranks. You see, Shabaranks is one who made us ugly people know that we can also be sexy.
But
Shabaranks is the ugliest guy I've ever seen. That guys were just at like that's what talent looks like. So that's what talent.
So that's why Tingaling is Tingaling. Think because I think